we haven't done it justice.
How do we use technology to improve the lives?
Living buildings that actually live. You need people rubbing elbows to connect and say what those new ideas. There's some bad things that can come out of that, but there are also some bad things that can come out of people who have a perspective where this world is centered around me. That many times all we have is our faith. And who am I living in America? I'm a part of the 1%. Can we come together and believe and chart a course as humanity with some principles and morals that involve not just the human, the individual, but the group? I would not want to be president of the United States.
Escaping poverty can be challenging for individuals from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. However, some people not only overcome these challenges but achieve significant success. Today I have the privilege to speak with one such example. Please enjoy my conversation with Keith Stanley, the president and CEO of University City Partners, Inc. What was your most extreme experience in life? Something that is forever engraved in your memory and that you would never be able to forget.
There's so many to choose from, but if you don't mind, I would go with two. One is that I never forget cutting grass and doing that every summer for a big portion of my formative years, from middle school to high school. And those experiences of meeting with people, shaking people's hand, make sure I had the transaction down pat, receipts, understanding what they wanted. They want the grass cut, they want the bushes trimmed, they want the lawn edged, they want to rake, they want to add, whatever the case of services. And I also think my dad seeing how hard he worked, being a basement waterproofer for many years and seeing, lifting concrete, just the sacrifice he made that imprinted on me, just a hard work ethic. I think I just kind of had the privilege to have a good father and good parents who saw that benefit and that value and imprinted on me a work ethic.
Can you recall one example when you were thinking that's too much as a kid, as a child or a teenager?
Oh, definitely with my dad. I remember he brought me on to a job site. After one day, I was like, I can't do this. Part of their job for basement waterproofing is breaking up concrete in the basement, busting a window open in the basement, and then pulling out, I think it was 10-pound buckets of concrete 30 or 40 times. I was like, this is not my world. I don't think I can do this. And to seeing my dad every day, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8 o'clock at night. And that's including the driving. That imprinted upon me doing that type of work.
Today is the first day of Black History Month, and I've watched some of your videos addressing American history events related to Black culture, enslavement, and justice. Communities can definitely do better. I myself represent the minority here, being a Russian-speaking guy, and my wife is Chinese-American. However, do we really need Black History Month? I tend to agree with Morgan Freeman, who expressed that there is no need to confine Black history to a single month.
You're going to relegate my history to a month? Which month is White History Month?
Black history is American history.
What's your perspective on this?
That's an excellent question. I would actually go back, if I could, return the questions for you in a sense that I give you a couple examples what I mean by that. I'm sure you've heard about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Have you heard about Tulsa, Oklahoma in Greenwood?
I've heard, yeah.
Or Rosenwald, I should say, schools. Have you ever heard about that? I could probably go on about things that have happened in the Black community, both good and bad, that America, and I'm talking about as a whole, we haven't done it justice. And so when I think about Black History Month, I think some people think about, okay, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, but I think there is so much rich history. Black inventors who created the elevator, created the traffic light, created the air conditioning unit, and the list goes on. And I think it's important for us to highlight that Black history doesn't start or end with slavery. And I think it's good for the Black community, especially for young Black kids, to see so many people who have participated in the growth of this nation. You think about Tuskegee University, how that institution came about. You think about the number of Black institutions, historical Black colleges, and how they came about. I can tell you about King Henry VIII and about his wife. I can't tell you about as much as W.D. Du Bois or many others, Nat Turner, who impacted this country here in America. And I think for a lot of people, The reason why Black History Month is important is because just understanding who are these great people and what they did and how they did it. We wouldn't need Black History, I think, month if we did Black history in this country justice. And we understood, I didn't know anything about Rosenthal schools. There were over 5,000 of Black community across the Southeast, in the Southeast here, created over 5,000 schools with their own money to educate their own children. Who knew? I didn't know about that. And every day I'm learning things that Blacks have contributed to society, not just America, but the world. And we just haven't, something there, we haven't done it justice. And I would be the first one to get rid of Black History Month if we were able to do justice to the many Black heroes and sheroes who contributed to society. And there's so many of them. You and I can have a whole entire podcast, and then we will never cover all the people who impacted the shoes. There was an African-American created the soles of the shoes to go inside shoes. And the list can go on about African-American inventors and creators and those who've impacted. And not to say that we don't take away from Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Rosa Parks, but I think having Black history help us remind us there are so many people who've contributed to the society is absolutely amazing.
We have a lot of technological advancements. So we have this whole wave of AI applications that are being released on a day-to-day basis. So here's how we could hypothetically make society more equal, at least in my dreams. I'm pretty sure you know the show The Voice.
Party girls, don't get hurt, can't feel anything. When will I learn?
What if we started having a similar approach in the workplace or any other relevant environment? For example, there would be a third party running a background check, like Checker right now, and ensuring that whatever is mentioned by an applicant is true.
Companies see an average 35% increase in speed after switching to Checker. With Checker, 84% of reports are ready in under 15 minutes.
And then, let's say during actual video interviews by employers, and many job interviews now get conducted via a video camera, job applicants would present themselves under made-up names. They could apply face filters or even change dimensions of their faces and appearances entirely, and they could alter voices and even change accents.
Yeah.
So there would be sort of virtual avatars. We could accomplish all of that with artificial intelligence, even at the current stage. And I'm speaking with you over Zoom right now. Even during this session, I could have appeared as a speaking strawberry, and you could have been a speaking eagle. So in such cases, you can't really know a person's race, or if a person was born in the US or immigrated from another country at some point. With AI, we can change the shape of our heads and facial features so we can adopt whatever accent we want. That way, when you speak with a person, you solely focus on an individual's qualifications when it comes to the work environment and avoid biases. And regardless of what people say, we all have preconceived notions, one way or the other, on a subconscious level. However, with current technology, we could completely get rid of discrimination, at least in the virtual space, in fields where physical presence is not needed. For example, if you're a software engineer and apply for a job online, that is entirely possible. Maybe not for your field where you have to actually communicate with people and see people, but for certain professions, for certain individuals. So what do you think about this type of concept?
This is a lot there to unpack. I would say a couple of things, and if you don't mind, Ivan, I'm going to take a few notes as I go through this. I would say, first of all, I think technology can be used for humanity as a tool to keep moving us forward. I do believe that if treated right, it can be a valuable tool that can move us towards progress. When I hear you talk about AI, I think about, and I might be dating myself here, think about Star Trek. This multicultural, diverse world where we're using technology to explore. So I see the value. I want to make sure that's clear. Also, being able to empower communities, and this is really the work that we do, I do on a daily basis, to take advantage of the technology to improve those local place-based communities where, you can't move anywhere because you're located in a city or community or neighborhood. How do we use technology to improve the lives of others within those communities? And that's where I get excited. What tools, AI tools or other tools, will allow us to make sure that we're able to educate everyone? Maybe it's this world of virtual world that we're in now, where we can use virtual technology to educate. But it doesn't stop there. Can we look at, I think it's called telehealth, and being able to make sure there's opportunities for people to get the health care they need. I think that technology, specifically AI and this communication technology, I should say, could really impact our communities in a very positive way. We just have to make sure that technology doesn't take advantage of us. You know, when you think of social media and some of the things that has happened, suicide rates, depression rates, I would love to say that everyone has the fortitude to put up walls to guard themselves, but technology is pretty smooth. I just think that we should be very mindful as we look at these ways that can improve our communities.
Currently, you lead the organization called University City Partners Inc. You are the head of the company, working as the president and CEO of this organization. And based on my understanding, you represent a group of people who want to make the area called University City in Charlotte, North Carolina, a better place to live and play. Let's talk about it. University City is home to the University of North Carolina. Education is important, but in general, education is undergoing a significant shift, transformation, and advancements in technology are playing a key role in reshaping traditional models of learning. In my subjective opinion, and this is again my subjective opinion, unless you are a doctor who needs practice or another specialist who absolutely needs lab work hours, physical practice, everything else can be studied online. Lectures, in my opinion, are completely useless. You waste your time going to your school, then you listen to this professor who is speaking slowly in a monotonous voice. Listening to the same lecture online would have been a more efficient use of time. First of all, you wouldn't need to dress up and travel to a university building. Then you could speed up the lecture by listening to it on 2x speed. It will save time and help you gain even more knowledge. So my question is, should we change our perception of the traditional concept of the university? Should we just acknowledge the fact that in a lot of cases, a diploma is more of a status symbol? It's like you can show off by wearing Gucci clothes or driving a Lamborghini car in the same exact way as you can show off that you graduated from Stanford or Oxford. What is your take on it?
Just recently, I got a chance to go on UNC Charlotte's campus for a campus tour, and I was just blown away, Ivan, at some of the things that they were doing. I got a chance to meet a doctoral student candidate who's working on living buildings, like living buildings that actually live. They're living and breathing. They're taking in carbon and they're breathing out oxygen. They have single cell organisms built within their facades that are helping clean the air. You need people rubbing elbows to connect and say what those new ideas, what that represents as far as all the people who had to come together for that. So I do see a value in folks, students coming to a campus and working on projects. I also see a value to what I would call apprenticeships. Can we just get people in the field? We need folks out there working. And I think sometimes the traditional path has been in the way for some people.
After meeting David Ginsburg, I learned a lot about cities, bids. Can you give one tangible example of how your organization helped business owners or just regular folks?
You don't mind, Ivan, I'd like to give a couple of examples. And the one is advocacy. We have some issues right now with infrastructure. We need more sidewalks. We need more traffic lights. For the city of Charlotte, usually will depend on the private sector to step up in what we call P3 projects, public-private partnerships, where private sector spends some money, the public sector spends some money, and we all come together in a partnership. We know from what we see in the landscape that sometimes that just doesn't happen. And we know as the city continues to grow, 113 people that they say come to Charlotte, the Charlotte region every day, we have to build infrastructure. We advocate, and we've been able to get grants for lighting projects. We've been able to get actually support for new sidewalks. And that is really us getting in front of people and say, hey, our community is growing. We have needs. We need your help. And without us in that space, we would need to depend on somebody else. A couple other tangible ways I would say is marketing, promotions. We're able to get into, because we touch pretty much every corner of the community. So I work with pastors, CEOs, principals, business owners, both small and large. We can bring all these people together and say, hey, let's talk about the new business that's coming online next month, and we should go out there and learn more about it. Let's talk about a need within the community with our public schools. We want to get volunteers from from an anchor institution or from a Fortune 500 company. Can you come and give us 10 engineers who can then go to the school to help with their math program? Those are the conversations that we actually do and that we're part of. We raise dollars to have events where people can come and spend money and have a good time. We also help with the economy. We help with economic development. My predecessor here was an advocate for building a new library, was an advocate here for building the Blue Line extension, a $1 billion investment in public transportation to connect us to the rest of the city of Charlotte. The students use it at UNC Charlotte, use it every day. And we see economic development impact because of it. So we got $1 billion worth of development. So our role is really to look at the landscape and kind of take the individual out of the conversation and bring in the community and what could benefit the community as a whole. And those have been some practical examples. We even give grants during COVID, giving out grants for businesses just to survive, giving them the resources they need. We play a very unique role, I think, in some of the work that we've done. And so hopefully that answers your question.
This video was made possible by my friend David Ginsberg of HRS Inc. David and his partner Sweeta Tucker and founding partner Dave Smith represent a retained executive search firm specializing in assisting business improvement districts, downtown, center city, and economic development organizations in identifying highly qualified and diverse slates of candidates for C-suite positions. HRS Inc. uniquely combines deep recruiting expertise and relationships with the subject matter expertise of a partner who has actually been CEO of a downtown organization. Learn more about HRS Inc. on the company website, hrsinc.com, or contact David directly. He's a really nice guy.
All right, I have one deeply philosophical question. What is your take on the subject of God? I believe that your father is a pastor in the church. Why is there poverty in the world? And if some people are deeply religious and ask for help, why can certain families never break out of the cycle of poverty? Did religion help you specifically to overcome obstacles? And if so, how exactly did it help? What would you tell hopeless people that just need help and despite all prayers cannot move forward and improve their situation?
That's a whole podcast within itself, Ivan, man. Wow. Well, I'll start with me. I have always been religious or spiritual, man. I grew up in the church as a Christian, and Christianity has played a major role in shaping how I view the world. Over the past few years, I've come to realization the importance of having just faith. Now, that faith may be expressed differently for people, but being able to believe in something that is bigger than you, I think it's key to humanity. Now, some people say, well, that's not necessarily true because I don't believe in God, but you believe in a country, you believe in your marriage, you believe in something that's outside of you as a human being and your experience. And I do think there's a value in us as humans believing in something that is bigger than us. There's some bad things that can come out of that, but there are also some bad things that can come out of people who have a perspective where this world is centered around me. That can be expressed in many ways. The example I would give is that even though I struggled, Ivan, and my family struggled, and it was challenging, the fact that I had the opportunity and I was positioned to help those who were even still less fortunate than me gave me perspective. And so I would say that I think when it comes to religion, having perspective and being able to believe in something bigger than you, whether you believe in nature or you believe in the 3 Abrahamic religions, whatever it is, having something that allows you to take yourself somewhat outside the equation, I think there's a value add to that. I would say there's humility when it comes to that, and expressed differently. I know people who are atheists, but they do believe in this nature, and they believe in how this world and this galaxy and this place that we call Earth is set up. And so they have some type of faith structure. Now, I'll be the first to admit, Ivan, I am not the perfect person. I'm not a Jordan Peterson, but I do see a value in having faith. And I would tell those who struggle with the hopelessness, economic hopelessness, poverty, the pain and suffering of war and violence and chaos, that many times all we have is our faith. And that's what brings us through. I would encourage them to keep going, keep believing. We can, as human beings, can let the darkness get to us. And I don't think that's a good thing. And who am I living in America? I'm a part of the 1% of the world as it's concerned. When you're America, they say that you're part of the 1% of the world. But I do see the value in believing and having hope, because what else is there? I referenced earlier about Star Trek. I think as a Star Trekkie myself, there's a value added. Like, can we come together and believe and chart a course as humanity with some principles and morals that involve not just the human, the individual, but the group? And I think that's what religion does. I don't know if that answers your question. I see the value and I see the importance of it, and it's gotten me through. I don't know if it was the special ingredient that it was different from anybody else, but it's gotten me through. And I think maybe for different people, different strokes for different folk.
I have a series of short questions for you. Please answer them in just one sentence.
No problems. I will try.
Keith, how do you define happiness?
That's a good question. I would just say right now, I'm still learning on how to define happiness. I do think purpose involves happiness, I will say.
If you were the president of the United States and had an opportunity to improve one thing, just one thing in the country, what would it be?
Good question. I have to admit, though, I would not want to be president of the United States, because I wouldn't even know where to start.
All right, let me rephrase it. If you were forced to be the president of the United States and you had an opportunity to improve one thing, and you were forced to pick one opportunity and change just one thing, what would it be?
I would just say, with the caveat that I don't have to deal with all the craziness when it comes to the Congress and the Senate, I would say I would love to be able to work on education. I think education is something that we need to get serious about in this country.
What is one bad habit you have and you're okay with it?
I would say overthinking. I probably overthink too much, and I'm okay with that.
In a hypothetical scenario where you become one of the first settlers on Mars among other 1,000 people and had to choose a profession, what would it be?
That's a good one. I would probably say I would want to be a builder of some sort. So building the homes or the infrastructure. I think builder/engineer to create homes and things needed. I think that I'd really like that, to be the homesteader and creating the things that need so people can live in those units. I would say that. So I'll be a builder.
All right, Keith, we have discussed a lot of topics today. And before you go, I would like you to talk more about things that are on your mind, but perhaps we didn't have a chance to discuss those things. Maybe you're working on an interesting project, or you have something important to share, or maybe you simply want to give advice to those individuals who, like you, did not get much on a silver plate, but somehow want to succeed in life. Please share your thoughts with us.
Thank you for this opportunity, Ivan. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Somebody wants to hear me, so the fact that you gave me this platform, thank you. Along with that, I would say as my closing comments, I want to thank the people who believed in me, and I really appreciate the fact that there were a number of people in my life at this stage and age of my life believed in me and gave me opportunities. And I see that value in believing in people and giving people opportunities. And it's my goal to, in honor of that, of those many, many wonderful people, that I try to do the same thing. And it's my goal to also give others opportunities and invest in other people. And so I just want to, if I can, I want to thank those who did that for me. Started with my parents, my grandparents, my mentors, and those who helped me even get this position here. It's just a lot of great human beings who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I thank them for that. Those who are interested, please do visit our website, universitycitypartners.org. A couple of things I can share is that we brought on new staff members in the past month, which has been great. We have a new economic development and a land planning manager. We have a director of partnership and community engagement. We're tightening our relationship with UNC Charlotte. We have several interns with UNC Charlotte. We're leaning into their homecoming every year. And then lastly, I would share is that we are announcing a small business initiative this month where we're actually supporting businesses with resources who are growing and need support with their, whether it's, we mentioned before, Ivan, advocacy, marketing, promotions, social media, PR, and media. We're going to make sure we support those businesses. So we're pretty excited about that. So University City Partners is a small business initiative, and people can find out more about it on our website at universitycitypartners.org.
Thank you so much for your time.